What up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel here at Gallivants and Rants. It has been a minute. I've been wanting to upload a new video here for the last week or so, and with Trinidad Carnival going on, I was going to base the video around people of non-Caribbean descent, specifically white people participating in Carnival festivities. But just a few days ago, Joe Budden decided to make a comment on a podcast that he was on, saying that girls can't wait to put on Carnival costumes and be hoes. So instead, that's what this video is going to be based around. Now, I'd like to mention that the full Caribbean has already come out and spoken on so many different platforms. I know I've been following it on Instagram. Everybody has been putting in their 2 cents about this topic, and I would like to add mine as well. A lot of what I'm going to say has already been said, but I just wanted to come from my perspective to the people that follow me on social media. So there are a lot of layers to this, and I think the most important one to discuss is men disrespecting women constantly. We live in a patriarchal society, unfortunately, and men have been getting away with misogyny and sexism and all types of stuff for way too long. And I've seen so many people coming to his defense saying, oh, it was just a little, passing comment and all this kind of stuff, or you didn't listen to the whole podcast, they took it out of context. I don't need to hear the entire context of a podcast. All I need to know is that he wasn't quoting somebody else, that somebody else didn't actually say that. If that is a direct quote from him, that is the only part of the conversation that I need to hear. When you address any woman, specifically women of color, because they get the worst amount of backlash in this society, I have a huge problem with that. And the reality of the situation is that most men are not going to change by us women telling them how that makes us feel, because they're disrespecting us from the jump. Society has taught them that it's okay to speak of us in this manner, and other men are complicit in it. They are upholding these things that society has taught us. What needs to happen is that more men need to step up and say, nah, you can't talk like that about women in front of me. That's not cool. Because as long as a man's boys are still uplifting that and saying, oh, it's just locker room talk, or just dismissing it, then it's going to keep happening. And it's not just a little passing comment. It's not just something that's not harmful, because it is harmful. Because these are the types of conversations and things that men say that eventually lead to rape culture, that lead to sexual abuse, sexual assault, men catcalling women, making us feel uncomfortable. It's not harmless. It is very harmful. So men, we need you. Just as it's not up to people of color to educate white people about racism, it's up to us white people to educate other white people in our families and our friend groups and all of this about racism and how to recognize racism. It is up to men to teach other men how to not be ignorant and how to not demean us and treat us in this manner. Which brings me to my second point, that this comment by Joe Budden was out of complete ignorance. He clearly doesn't understand Carnival culture. He doesn't understand its history. A very brief history of Carnival is that when chattel slavery ended, those people who were formerly enslaved would dress up in masquerade costumes to mock their former slave owners. Now, as shitty as this comment was, it does bring about an opportunity for education. One of the things that most soca artists are trying to do nowadays is to bring soca to the world. It's a big hashtag, it's a big theme to bring soca to the world, to bring soca to the universe, to get it out there, because it needs to be recognized. It is an amazing genre of music, and it's very, very uplifting, and Carnival is all about this euphoric this feeling of freedom, and it's about everybody, no matter what race, what skin tone, how big or small, short or tall, everybody. It's about everybody coming together and feeling free, feeling for a few moments that they don't have all of these pressures of the world, that they can be themselves, they can dress any kind of way that they want to. And it's about making a choice for yourself. Do you want to be more conservative? Do you want to expose a little bit more skin? It's up to you. It's up to women. It's up to men. It's up to every individual to decide what they're comfortable with and to come together with a sense of unity and family. Now, if Soca indeed is going to go to the world, which I do believe that it is, I think it's growing exponentially. Even in just this last year and a half, I've seen it expand. And there's a Soca following in Japan and Switzerland and Poland. It's popping up more and more and becoming more and more known throughout the world. And with this is going to come a level of ignorance. There's going to be people that are going to start to participate. White people, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at us, like more white people, more people of non-Caribbean descent are going to start participating, and they're not going to know the history, they're not going to know the culture, and they're going to make comments like these. I think this is, you know, just the start of the level of ignorance that we're about to see. So those of us who are part of the Soca community already and who do know the history and the culture, I think it's up to us to call people out or to call people in, whichever you prefer, and to educate people on a mass scale. And so my third and last point is directed towards people that look like me. Also people of non-Caribbean descent. Doesn't have to necessarily be white people, just people who are not educated in the culture. When you're going into a space that you know nothing about, you have to be respectful. You have to observe, you have to learn the culture, you have to educate yourself on the history. For example, whining is part of Soca culture, and it does not make a woman or anyone a hoe or any of these other derogatory terms that men and even other women like to call us. So with that, I will wrap up and I will say that it is a great time to be alive. So many different conversations like this one, and based around race and sexuality and all these kind of things, are boiling up to the surface. People are having these conversations, and I don't think a lot of them are really going as deep as I would have hoped just yet, but they're getting there, they're starting, and that's the most important part, because even when I was younger in my lifetime, these conversations were not being had. So it's absolutely imperative that we continue these conversations and we raise our youth to be open to talking about these situations. And I don't want any subject to be taboo. I don't want sex or sexuality or any of that. It should be normal topics of conversation that people are not afraid to have. As ignorant as that comment was, I won't go so far as to say I'm thankful that it happened, but because it did happen, I'm seizing this opportunity, as many of us are, to educate not only ourselves but other people about cultures that they might know nothing about, and moving the conversation forward and hopefully progressing society forward as well. And it is difficult, you know, to change ourselves. It's one thing to talk about these topics, but it's a whole nother level to actually change ourselves. Unfortunately, we do still live in a patriarchal, white supremacist society, and changing ourselves when we benefit from either white supremacy or patriarchy or both is difficult, but it needs to be done. So I've missed y'all, I've missed filming, I've missed editing, but I'm not going to promise anything. For so long I was promising, you know, a video coming soon, or I was going to do a video this day and this day. No more. I'm not promising anything. Whenever I feel compelled to film and upload a video, that's when I shall do so. So I hope everyone is having an amazing new year full of growth and creativity. And until the next time, whenever that may be, I leave you with revolutionary love.